Captain, the Dika mentioned
Shasi. Wow, so I'm person Shasi.
I think you better a pointer as a grow in the so. Because so when you heard the way a manner things have started flourishing for us, especially at the economic front, and as for I expect government to stay in line, stay focused, and deliver on the mandate I Ghana for a share a free so. But in this recent time, this prophecy office, for me, that is absolute nonsense, and it's not something that we must entertain, because you see, no country in the world, and I'll go on that particular line of prophecy, and as a form, I highlight at the national level. I keep telling people, so, the United States of America, Donald Trump, or what software they be or Monday White House or mobile empire, they have a Bible reading and all kind of days or more year. But these things, outside the public spectre, you understand? Some of these nema we are okay, what's subject to reasoning be you cannot justify anyway, because you can't prophesy or no see as to whether what the person is saying no cry saying no cry say free nyame free nyame. You are what as a bino, you have no capacity, you can't say, you can't review you. It is a worker say or set up a particular office. Yamfa prophecy in pen drive so say yam record name family said the question is a capacity bank, and I'll be there analyze it these things, because what's it when you're 200 a more 80% is of no use. I don't know Yakofa Moses a better them out na your friend is saying all church say way ya and say Yakofa Abraham the number. I think that the nation need to stay focused and dispel some of this nonsense. You see, these guys I'm a Christian, I believe in prophecy, but Captain, you see, this country cannot be held hostage by some individuals and we don't even know where they are coming from. And the fact is that Obi Hunu doesn't mean that the person is coming from God. Because I know people who are not prophets, but they can see and tell you what will happen tomorrow. You understand? So as a state, you see, these issues of religion, faith, and as a form, because they can never be eliminated by wisdom, common sense, yeah, they are good chain. And I hear mind using science, data, statistics, and so forth. Because this is not the first time Nipa kunya accident or more winning as for it happened. But Nipa no, some of the proper measures they be go akwami esisa na ma ho kwan no, and I allow for some of these things to happen. You understand? So for me, I think that this particular way is because of the panic and the fear in the system, because they see the various accidents and so forth. But my catcher say so. Wait for a trouble day. In a trouble day like this, and that is why you stand firm. You stick to your principles. You don't pander to some of these things, because the mere fact will be a common abomination as for your prophecies has always been all these things for me is nasty. You understand? So I was expecting say government will find a way to regulate some of these things. Wouldn't mean so be no cancer or prophecy but you see, some of these things, Captain Smarty, you have enemies. Obi betime take advantage no wakun just to justify the prophecy. President obi betime the same thing. So the thing is that ade no se nyankopon hunyansa yi a kire wa the same nyankopon se o kire hunyansa how to get to that particular person. Now we go social media koto atum, you are just creating panic and fear. And for me, that is why government should focus on making sure say what prophecy can make sure say obi an si wo ho kwan, but make sure you get to the person. Stop throwing some of these things into the space, causing fear and panic and as a form. By dedicating a whole office where people will be coming in with prophecy and as well. How do you even explain this to a kid? Say government is receiving a prophecy. How do you explain to a kid? But it's the same way. I think there is absolute nonsense. Some of these things, we don't need to give prominence to some of these things. We need to stay focused and make sure. So, minor yebua and that is where the focus should be. But some of these things, but when I am for I even say the energy and the hotoso more crown say be from. You understand? Obi anya bonsa me nyina ginger midi, and our individual ways we all go to church, we do our individual step by but higher. We don't come here to project send be away because these things are personal and we do it at a personal level. But if you get to the point where some of these things are being highlighted by a policy and as a form of now, and then as a driver or mind lose focus, some of the things, at the end of the day, people are going to judge you based on some of these things. You understand? So for me, I think that this whole prophecy thing for me, I think that is way below the belt. We should not even waste time talking about some of these things. Rather, no, way, the best thing government could have done, they say, your Christian Council will come in as much as some of these prophets are not part of the Christian Council, maybe this is an institution that is a bit away from government. Our more than the way I'm for the prophecy, find a way, even though you are not their members, but find a way, sa fear and panic na ye to go from mamunu to certain extent obi curtail na the national security implications na ye no but ye ka say aban jeje a I know the day no obi atam na dia or the beba so question yem bisa ye ho no say enti ochena se kwaku bonsam ka asem na eba ma ono se ye bebie office ama abosomfo omo so enti ye te na tegara wura Jubilee House so ono so the prophecy ko because ono so ohu what I say some of these things you open the floodgate because abosomfo nyina so be cancer mama na bam ebama are we going to say ye no se ye bebie office abosomfo so mfa omo prophecy and so omo mfa de obu humra na
wonjinya min dio
oh captain say bunu na yaso so nyame ben say bunu na yaso so yet we see me say nyankopon ho
200 nyame ye di 200
krom ade na si
and you say emu 80% enti
and I say Abraham na sheda ma o kire say 70% of mongu anasa man
but with him I am
it doesn't make sense.
I am thinking about something here. Why na who say come share no 80% na nye papa na 20% na aka na ye papa.
That is the question you should be asking. Ebasa, I say you are trying to ridicule the entire government like saying and I got prophecy detecting machine AC office baby. You see this thing is nonsense. For me I don't fall for some of these things. You see I believe in science, data, statistics. Personally I believe in God and I know so some of these things happen. You see Maakye say Nyankopon he doesn't often interfere in human affairs just like that too. Let me take you back to your friend saying the Second World War. Do you know the number of people who were killed in this country and in our assassin way so? Well, Nyankopon who so intervene here. Go to Ukraine. God does not easily or the palma as human beings, you know. Nyanside nim di odi amaye you know. And ye dey yes anema way. And if you pander to some of these things, over that's one I catch say Mr. President, the whole of July men kwa juma. And don't you think it's going to affect productivity? Because already, you know, you've given years and space to some of these people, and at the end of the day, they will manipulate you. Most of them are using psychology, and then as for just to manipulate people because they know, say, this particular space now, you know, and for the president, I sympathize with you because you see, they went there at the instructions of the president and they were going to work for the president. And I didn't see it. So all you know, you'll be broken because you take responsibility. You understand? Say, oh, me who young come on small. So that pain, not that kind of internal way will be with the president. So the people around at this time, no, there's a woman that particular energy, no, Gina, you ultimately wriggle out of some of these things. Now your confess the prophecy about and I say they have a prophecy for good pen drive so bra. Now you try to review. How they be review based on what? And I will be review prophecy. Say you understand? Ebasa yes subjected the state to a state of ridicule. And as for me, I think say you see. Things have started working. Mahama Baye, who had the dollar, who had the rate at which the economy now picking, all the ratings are going high, and then as for I think we need to be in that particular lane and project the good things that the government is doing. Sabaya Ghana for Bejiatum. Now some of these offline activities, and then as for now, Mahu Alfred, your friend saying. Honorable free ankra trying you see I think Ojaika said because you see some of these things are okay sometimes we need to appreciate that there are also intellectuals who are part of the community who are also observing things that is happening in Ghana. There are some me say me captain but some of these things way there and so also in support that's how the prophecy the prophecy but as our individual but can you come in here
200 prophecies.
And I'm say 200 prophecy no Moses in the shed them all catch almost 80% na nya na say why na eka
Isaiah
okay more than Isaiah about them and the question is that why ya waje asofo dey ato me ochina kwaku bonsam ne nabusuafo so base ye de ba wontumi nkasa wonye because Ghana is Christian country nkwa what I say and the Muslim clerics then asefo no so sha ase so I know the day no ya nhwe ya ye be dan hobosom dan obi atam nsem nu bia na o de kɔ hɔ and that is my worry. Basa, you will not focus and deliver on the mandate that the people because Maakye say the last leg that Ghana's democracy we ejina so this John Mahama administration because we hunsem huna kufuado dey firm to a point that Ghana for abamubu you said they didn't even want democracy anymore. You understand? And now the hope is returning, confidence once again is returning. People have beliefs that things can be done right and we hear the numbers, the statistics, the figures and so forth. Things are getting better, but who diverting out the one doing kosi sa nema we so be catch say oh the whole of July men kwa adwuma. Na me from where I'm coming from my bottom line is why dey ngu asase so.
You must be a fool to think that you live forever. You understand? Me being at the hospital, but I cried already 6 months a woman inside. Obi already 1 year. Obi already 4 years. Obi already at age categories. That is life. Death is part of life. So we should not allow ourselves to be cowed into subjugation and some kind of intimidation because Obi Babewu. We are saying it is part of life. So I think we need to, the little time that we get, let us use it to make the good impact a bit you're making. Then you go. The life continues. So I think that yet me have that particular mentality. Now you stay stronger. Some of these will not move you, will not push anybody. You understand? But for a whole government to make room, say about yes, I think it's very disappointing in the eyes of intellectuals, and they will begin to question what the motivations are. I understand the country is in the state of your friends saying we are a bit dejected but I think that this is the time as you pull it together as a country now you march it on at religion at our individual levels. We can continue to deal with our individual prophets our young kasa level, but see highlighting it to a national and make it an agenda. Say your friends ya prophecy na ya 200 na your friends say you may end up wasting resources. And I know me to say obi si more car na petrol na say for obi ba jet obi ba ji we I know the day no a man for multi-chroma sacrifice I work for a buy no kwado then no monya. What I say. So I think that we shouldn't create room for some of these things. I catch us say we need to me na one care for ho ade dey kan yira first common sense na say adno so nya yirawa wuntimi nsi kwan mu da. So I think people should take you from some of this. Yeah, at the national level, some of this nonsense cannot be highlighted. I think that at our individual level we can deal with it.